Here are 3 signs that you should get tested for autism. Y'all enjoyed the first one, so I'm back with a part 2. Number 1, you've been depressed for a very long time. I once had a patient who came into the office. She had been depressed for a very long time. I think she was 17 or 18. I asked her when her depression started. She said 7. And then she went on to talk about how it's been difficult her whole life to fit in, how she's had to work twice as hard as her peers. And then she kept talking. About an hour and a half later, I arrived at the diagnosis of autism because it was clear that she had been trying to fit into a neurotypical world, but she's just not set up that way. And it changed her life. So if you've been depressed for a very long time, keep in mind that that's not normal. Major depression, or MDD, is depression where you've lost interest, you are isolating, you're having brain fog, it's hard to do everything, you're sleeping longer than you normally sleep, or you're not sleeping enough. It's all those depressive symptoms for the better part of 2 weeks. So if you've been depressed for years, there's a good chance that you may be neurodivergent, and it may be time to book that appointment. Number 2, you hate being told what to do, and the way people ask things of you is very important. So if I ask you, hey, are you able to help me out with one of the chores in the house? Could you vacuum or maybe do something else to help me out? I'm a little stressed. That would work so much better than saying, hey, I need you to vacuum right now. And that's because when you're autistic, it means that the way that you communicate with the world is different from how other people communicate with you. So because of that gap in communication, you'll need some level of external support. So because you need that support, you spend a large part of your life fighting for autonomy. So if people tell you to do things in a certain way and it doesn't feel like you have a choice, it makes you angry, it makes you frustrated. And sometimes that can lead to an argument, kids get expelled for this, or kids get punished, people are labeled stubborn unfairly. So this type of thing is called demand avoidance. I think it's something that every autistic person, every neurodivergent person should know about. Number 3, you have a hard time understanding other people's emotions and sometimes your emotions. So when you're autistic, even at an early age, you spend a lot of time watching your peers because you realize that you're a little different and that there's a way to do things that's more socially acceptable. So you learn to mirror people and you study their cadence and you eventually learn how to emulate that. But it can be difficult to understand their emotions and understand other people and social situations in the beginning. At the same time, you also may struggle to understand your own emotions. And this type of thing is called alexithymia, or emotional blindness. And this is when somebody asks you something, or when you're trying to understand how you feel about a certain thing at a point in time and you just can't muster up the words. There's a disconnect between the body and the brain, and it manifests in you not knowing what you're feeling. And sometimes even if you know what you're feeling, you're not able to express that. So that leads to frustration, and it can lead to you isolating yourself, and that neurodivergent burnout that we try and avoid. Sometimes you find yourself headed there when you just feel like you can't express yourself the way you want to express yourself because you don't even know what you're feeling.